So, if you're just joining us, we are chilling at Nibiru home office for Mardukite Ministries, listening to some Nubian lights rapping about the Necronomicon of Joshua Free. We were talking in our last video about the Stargate system, the sevenfold Stargate system, and this is something that you will also find in the Egyptian chapters of Crossing, better known to folk as the Egyptian Book of the Dead. It details a sevenfold system, which scholars believe is actually a pre-dynastic Mesopotamian origin system. While physical gates did appear in ancient times, the systems were solidified in an age where sympathetic magic was rampant. This means that all physical symbols were held in basically high esteem when they had allegorical, sacred symbolism to a higher, more metaphysical ideal. Most contemporary practitioners that are familiar with like pathworking in the Kabbalah on the astral plane, they've often assumed that this was always the intended case of the system, but a closer inspection will reveal that really nothing in the ancient world is just anything. Now, our Mardukite-oriented Necronomicon depicts the Enuma Elis in the Book of Nemesis, which is of Babylonian origin, in this format, because it's the Epic of Creation tablets. The version now that appears in the Magan text of Simon is similar, but it's definitely incomplete when compared to our newer translation. Curiously, most scholars will disregard the significance of the seventh tablet, which we present as the Book of Marduk and the 50 Names, that we found and translated from our own Babylonian research, completely independent from the Simonian work of a similar nature. And we also, in addition, a series of sigil seals that are still awaiting publication in the third installment of our gem series, the Emerald Gatekeepers Grimoire. But more importantly, the tablets that are given in the Necronomicon were ritualistic in and of themselves. They were actually read during the Babylonian New Year festival. They were read in public by priests. The festival was called Akiti, and the Akiti festival was marked by the start of what we call the zodiacal wheel, from the Chaldean Babylonian system, which is basically Mardukite oriented because it begins with the sign of Aries, and that's approximately March 21st. In another piece of really hardcore Mesopotamian research, our Maklu tablet series, we included not only the full text of the 9 tablets, something I am unaware of being available to the general public in paperback. In addition, the various tablets of exorcism that were the basis of what I feel is the Maklu text in the Simonian book, because our research showed us that the actual Maklu tablet series appeared nowhere in Simon's book, but instead revealed incantations that we found independently on various Babylonian, Chaldean, and Akkadian tablets, verbatim as they appeared in the Simonian Necronomicon. So, you know, these rites definitely were not just made up by any means. They do exist, and the Maklu tablet series that we discovered, really, it's very likely, in my opinion, that the editors of the book in the 70s, their version, you know, they with what was available to them, I don't think they really fully understood what they came upon, and I think, you know, rightly so at that juncture, they were kind of messenger catalysts that way. But the Maklu rite, as we discovered, is actually a national event that took place during 2 key gate festivals. So you got the Akiti festival, which is like March 21st, our spring equinox. That's separate. Now you have 2 other key gate festivals that we would describe as Beltane or Samhain. We got May 1st or April 30th and October 31st. So 2 more traditional pagan holidays originate way back in the source tradition, and they do mark turning points of the year from a gatekeeping, gate-working perspective. And in addition to that, to particularly agricultural societies. So, you know, for the farming season, they really mark the beginning and end of the agricultural farming season. But rather than being a solitary rite for protection or an exorcism of an individual, as might be said for the exorcism tablets, the actual Maklu rite is a global chain curse of tremendous energy that intends to seek out and destroy all the evil and evildoers of the world, or at least bring a pending doom to them by the grace of the gods, which were petitioned by the good and the righteous. In this more historic light, we can again strip a layer or veil of negativity away from this stereotype that surrounds the Necronomicon as some kind of devil-worshipping guide to black magic, because for the sake of our research and our tradition and what we have been presenting and finding, nothing could be farther from the truth.